everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to a brand new mod spotlight. This time taking a look at building gadgets by me, Direwolf20. Let this video serve as both an announcement that building gadgets is now publicly available. You can get it through the Twitch client, you can get it from CurseForge, all the standard places that you can get mods from. So it's available on CurseForge. Go ahead and grab it from there. And also this video serves as the official mod spotlight to cover the features of the mod currently available in version 1.0. I do have plans for some other things I'd like to do with it, but this is kind of like a first draft of the mod. It's just the initial foundation, and once I'm sure that everything's running pretty smoothly and working pretty well, I'll be adding more features in the near future. But for now, let's take a look at building gadgets and all that it's capable of doing. So if you guys watched my previous video on the building gadgets mod where I kind of announced that I was working on it, not a whole lot has changed since that video, but there are a few tweaks and changes and additions that I've made since then. So let's take a look. The first tool that is available to you is the building gadget. The building gadget is capable of building blocks in different modes that are going to be apparent after you watch the segments in this video. The first mode is called Build to Me mode. What it does is it builds off of the block face that you're looking at towards the player. So if we look at this right now, you'll see these line of blocks are being built towards the player. If you want to change what blocks are being used to build, you just shift right click on a block type and it changes. So you can easily change to different modes, right? So you can build with bricks, or you can build with blocks, pretty much whatever you want, just by shift right clicking on that type. And then to build, you just right click, boom, and it builds those blocks towards you. Pretty cool. So when you look at the block face of a block, it builds to the player's position off of that block face. So if we're looking at this one, it builds in this direction. If we look at this block face, it builds off in that direction. Another feature of the builder is the ability to remember the last 10 builds that it's done, and you can undo them in order. So if I hit the undo hotkey, it'll undo those builds and refund the blocks that were used to build. So you can see I got my cobblestone back. Not a problem. Build, undo. Pretty cool. Note that just like placing blocks in the world, it will overwrite certain blocks like tall grass. So if I build, it'll overwrite the tall grass there and remove the tall grass from the world, but it won't overwrite or remove any other block types. So for example, if I do this, you'll notice that it's not going to overwrite the grass that's in the way, but it will build every other block in the line. Nice. Another feature is the ability to press the anchor hotkey that will stick the render in the world so that you can see what's going to be built before actually committing to the build. And if you like it, you can right click to build and it'll go ahead and build what the anchor currently is. It'll also remove that anchor. You can still undo these. If you don't like the anchor and realize, you know what, I really wanted to build out to here, you can press the anchor hotkey again and it'll remove the anchor and then anchor it again, remove the anchor, etc. The next mode to take a look at is Vertical Column. Vertical Column uses the range indicator, just like every other mode except Build to Me. Range doesn't really make sense in Build to Me mode, so it doesn't apply. So with range, it's just a vertical column of blocks in the specified range. So if we bump the range up to 2, it'll build 2 blocks. 3, it builds 3 blocks, etc., all the way up to a max range of 15. So you can see here, that's a 15 tall column. You can right click and undo and do all the things that we had in the other modes. So all those features of anchoring blocks and undoing blocks is capable in all modes, and you can see that. Now if you're looking at the top of a block, it'll build up. And you can shift press the hotkey to change the range to go down. So regular hotkey, default is R to go up, and shift the hotkey to go down. If you'd like to build down, just look at the bottom of a block face and you'll notice that it builds down. So in this case, we've got a range of 5. It'll build down 5 blocks if you're looking at the bottom of a block face, and it'll build up 5 blocks if you're looking at the top of a block face. If you're looking at the side of a block face, what it'll do is it'll split it and go half up and half down. So in this case, we've got a range of 5, so it'll go 2 up and 2 down if you look at the side of a block face. Horizontal column, otherwise known as a row, I know, is pretty straightforward. Basically, what it does is it builds out blocks opposite of the block face you're looking at. So if I'm looking at this block face, it builds in that direction. And if I look at this block face, it builds in that direction. So it kind of builds away from the block face you're looking at. If you're looking at the top or bottom of a block face, it'll build in whatever direction your player is looking. So you can go like that. Pretty much the plan here is this would be useful for building out skyblock maps. The next mode is vertical wall, and you can see here we've got a vertical wall range of 5, and that means it's going to build a 5 by 5 wall centered on the block that you're looking at. And just like vertical column, if you're looking at the top of a block face, it'll build upwards. If you're looking at the bottom of a block face, it'll build downwards. And if you're looking at the side of a block face, it'll build half up and half down all around. Neat. The next mode is horizontal wall, and what this does is build a wall of blocks of the range, so 5 by 5 in this example, towards the player off of the block face you're looking at. Planned to be used mostly for building roofs. So pretty much it'll build towards the player based on the block face. And again, if you're looking at the top or bottom of a block face, what it'll do is it'll go ahead and build around that block so that you can, expand a floor or a roof as needed. And finally, the last mode, which wasn't shown in the initial video, is the stairs mode. So what this does is taking the block face that you're looking at, if the block you're looking at is below or equal to the player's height, it'll build up like this. And you can use that to build a staircase up. And just like with previous modes, there is a range that maxes out at 15, and it'll basically build a stairway upwards. If you're looking at a block that's above your player, what it'll do is build stairs down towards the player. So looking at a block in front of you, below you, will build up and ahead, right? And if you're looking at blocks that are above you, it'll build down and towards you. So you can get up to the block you're looking at, or you can get up to the block like this. Neat. It should be noted that if you don't have enough blocks to complete a build, what's going to happen is you'll get a red indicator showing you which blocks can't be built because you don't have enough in your inventory to do the building. So in this case, I've only got 7 cobblestone in my inventory, so only 7 blocks of cobblestone will be buildable. The red indicator here shows you that you don't have enough of those blocks. So if you try to do the build, it'll build the ones that you have enough blocks for, but it won't do the remainder. Next up is the exchanging gadget. The exchanging gadget will swap blocks in the world, again using the range indicator. So you can expand the range, and this one goes up by 2 because pretty much the exchanger you're always going to have in an odd number. So 3 by 3, 5 by 5, 7 by 7, and the same thing applies with shift clicking the range hotkey. The same thing also applies with the red outline. If you don't have enough blocks for the exchange, it'll give you a red outline. You can also anchor the render so you can see what's going to be exchanged and how. The exchange tool does not have an undo feature. If you want to undo the thing you just exchanged, well, simply exchange it back. That's how the exchanger is meant to be used. Undos would be a little bit tricky to use with the exchange tool, just because of the way blocks work in Minecraft. You don't always get what what you expect. So, for example, if we exchange grass, when I right-click this, you'll notice that we don't get grass in our inventory. We get dirt. The same thing would apply, for example, with redstone. If we were to go ahead and do redstone, for example, we would not get redstone ore, but we would get. There we go. We'll put the dirt back. And let's say that we wanted to exchange it. So in this case, we got cobblestone, not stone, right? And if we exchanged the redstone here with this, we'll get redstone dust instead of a redstone block. Got it? However, if you want, you can enchant the exchanging gadget with Silk Touch, and this also works inside of an enchanting table. And if you do that, then you will be able to Silk Touch things. So in this case, if we went ahead and placed a redstone ore in the world and we exchanged it, we would instead get a redstone ore block instead of redstone dust. And the same applies right here for grass. We got grass blocks. Pretty nifty. As you can see, you can go ahead and only exchange blocks that match the block you're looking at. So in this case, I'm looking at a dirt block. It's not going to exchange the grass blocks around it. However, if I look at a grass block, it'll exchange grass blocks and not dirt blocks. Pretty standard exchanger tool functionality. In addition, if you want, you can change the mode. There are 2 other modes. The first mode here is vertical column. This will be vertical relative to the player's direction that he's looking at. So if you're looking at the bottom of a block, it'll go kind of forwards and backwards pretty much at all times, right? So it's kind of always vertical relative to the player's position. And also looking at a block like this, it's going to go up and down. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a wall here just to demonstrate this a little bit easier. So that's going to be vertical. If we go ahead and switch this tools mode to horizontal column, it's always going to be horizontal relative to the player's looking direction. And if you're looking at a wall, it's going to be pretty much left and right. So generally, it's going to be left and right. And at this time, those are the only 3 modes that the exchanger has. So a wall mode, and again, following the rules of the tool range, so we'll put it in 3. You can switch that to vertical column or horizontal column or wall. And reminder, there is no undo function, so if you want to undo what you did, just swap the blocks back. So there are a few things that I want to add. I pretty much have planned out for 3 versions of this mod, and this is version 1 that's feature complete. So all the features that I wanted to have in the first version of the mod are in. I do, before I start working on version 2, want to add a couple minor things, and I'm calling that version 1.5. I'd like the tool to use Forge Energy Power or RF Power, but I'm going to have a config option that makes it pretty much infinite use like it is now, so that either A, if you want to use it infinitely, because all it's really doing is helping you build things, or B, if you're playing a pack that doesn't have any kind of energy charging device in it, you can go ahead and just make it free to use. So that's one of the features I want to have. Another feature I'd like to have is I'd like the, instead of the hotkey just toggling the different modes, I want to have a radial menu to let you pick which mode, kind of like think of it like the Saigon or the Morph favorites or the Thaumcraft glove, that kind of radial menu that lets you see the different modes and choose one directly with your cursor. Version 2 and 3 features I'm kind of keeping a secret right now, so you're gonna have to wait and see. So for now, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed this mod spotlight and announcement that this mod is now available. The code is also open sourced on GitHub. You can find it by following the link on the CurseForge page. So if you guys are interested in how the mod's code works, it's totally open source, and you guys are free to look at it and play with it. All right, guys, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed this mod spotlight, and take it easy.